basement hums before Julian even reaches the bottom of the stairs, a low, rhythmic churn, like something breathing through old copper pipes. The overhead lights buzz in stuttering fluorescence, casting long shadows across rows of filing cabinets that haven't been opened in decades. This is sublevel 3 of the Department of Public Works, and it smells like dust, ozone, and something faintly metallic underneath. Julian Reyes is 26, 3 months behind on rent, and not in a position to ask questions about a night job that pays cash and doesn't require references. The posting had been strange. Overnight archive technician. Must be comfortable working alone. Must be willing to follow written procedure exactly. But strange money still spends the same as normal money. The desk he's led to sits in the center of a horseshoe of reel-to-reel tape machines. 8 of them, numbered 1 through 8. Only one is running when he arrives, reel 4. Its twin spools turning with a patient, unhurried rhythm, feeding brown tape past the heads with a sound like a held breath. His supervisor, a tired man named Voss who won't quite meet his eyes, gives him a 20-second orientation. Log the timestamps. Note anything unusual in the ledger. Don't touch the machines unless the ledger tells you to. Then he hands Julian a flashlight, points to the desk, and leaves, his footsteps receding up the stairwell far faster than seems necessary. On the desk, beneath a gooseneck lamp, sits a thick, leather-bound volume. The cover reads, in embossed letters gone soft with handling, the indexing protocol. Julian expects a training manual, procedures, machine diagrams, maybe an org chart. What he finds instead, on the very first page, is handwriting, frantic, uneven, pressed so hard into the paper that the pen has torn through in places. On-screen text, handwritten page, camera pans slowly. Rule 1. Never rewind tape reel 04 after 1 a.m. If the reels start spinning on their own, do not look at the monitoring window. He almost laughs. It reads like something scrawled by someone having a breakdown. Not standard procedure for a municipal archive job. He flips forward. The rest of the book is the same hand, the same manic pressure. Dozens of rules, numbered, some crossed out and rewritten, some just single words underlined 3 times. He doesn't read further yet. He tells himself he'll get to it. There's a name inside the front cover, half scratched out. On-screen text, inside front cover, torn edge. E. Marchetti. Do not disturb reel 04. If you're reading this, I didn't make it to shift change. Julian sits. He tries to make the basement feel ordinary, pulls out his phone, finds there's no signal down here, sets it face up on the desk anyway, like it might still be useful. He starts on a ledger, logging timestamps exactly as instructed, and for a while the job is almost soothing. Tape hiss, pen scratches, the hum of reel 4 endlessly turning, holding whatever recording lives inside it. At 11:40, can't help himself. He picks the ledger back up and reads further. On-screen text, flipping pages, quick cuts. Rule 4. If you hear your name called from the stairwell, do not answer aloud. Write your response in the ledger instead. Rule 7. The monitoring window shows sublevel 4. Sublevel 4 does not appear on any building schematic. Rule 9. Reel 04 was recording the night the last archive team disappeared. It has never been transcribed. It must never be transcribed. He looks up there, past the machines, in the far wall. A small square of reinforced glass. Dark on the other side. The monitoring window. He hadn't noticed it before. He tells himself it's just old security infrastructure. Something left over from when this sublevel had a different purpose. At 11:58, reel 4's take-up spool judders. Just once, a small mechanical hiccup, and for a fraction of a second, the tape appears to move backward. Julian checks his watch. 2 minutes to midnight. He closes the ledger, sits very still, and waits to see if it happens again. Midnight passes without incident. Julian almost lets himself relax. Then, at 1:15 a.m. exactly, the wall-mounted intercom, a boxy, government beige unit that looks like it hasn't worked since the Ford administration, crackles alive with a soft electric pop. It isn't static. It's clean. Startlingly clean. Like a live feed rather than something bled through decades-old wiring. Julian freezes at the desk as the intercom carries the unmistakable ambient hush of an occupied room, the particular quality of air that only exists inside four walls. A ceiling fan ticking, the settle of old floorboards. Somewhere above him, a room is breathing. He checks the ledger reflexively, flipping to see if this qualifies as one of Marchetti's numbered warnings. Nothing yet. Just Rule 1, staring up at him, underlined twice. The sound sharpens. Now there's motion in it, a heavy, dragging scrape, metal feet grinding against tile, the specific groan of a filing cabinet being hauled across a floor by someone who isn't bothering to lift it. It repeats. Drag, stop. Drag, stop. Like whoever's moving it is in no hurry at all. Like they have all night. Like they know he's listening. Julian goes rigid. He remembers a stapled sheet clipped to the inside back cover of the protocol. Building blueprints, water-stained, official DPW letterhead. He digs it out with shaking hands and holds it under the desk lamp. The floor directly above sub-level 3 is an office. It isn't anything. On-screen text, blueprint close-up stamped. Solid slab, structural, no access. 6 feet of reinforced concrete. No room. No cabinets. No floor for anything to drag across. The sound continues anyway. Drag. Stop. Drag. Stop. Getting, if he's honest with himself, closer to directly overhead. He wants to log it. Needs to. Some deep procedural instinct telling him that writing it down will make it smaller, will translate it into something manageable. He pulls the terminal keyboard toward him, fingers hovering over the keys, and that's when he notices the cursor is already moving. On-screen text, terminal screen, typewriter animation, letters appearing one at a time with soft key click sound, and oh, voiceover under this. They never left the room. They are still filing. Julian yanks his hands back like the keys are hot. He hasn't touched anything. The keyboard sits there, clicking softly, typing on its own. A line from the ledger surfaces in his mind, whole, like something surfacing in dark water. A rule he doesn't remember reading, printed clear as if it had been waiting for exactly this moment. If the equipment documents things you did not input, you have 3 minutes to lock the inner vault door from the inside. Julian's head snaps up. Behind the horseshoe of tape machines, past reel 4, there's a heavy steel door he'd assumed was a maintenance closet, riveted, industrial, with a manual wheel lock like something off a submarine hatch. He'd clocked it on the way in and dismissed it entirely. The intercom drags again. Closer now. Directly overhead, no question. On-screen text, terminal, faster typewriter animation. 3 minutes. Julian is already moving, chair scraping back, flashlight beam swinging wild across the basement floor toward that steel door, and somewhere behind him, so soft he almost misses it under his own footsteps. Reel 4 spools begin, very slowly, to turn backward. Julian doesn't lock the vault door. Not yet. The dragging above him stops just as suddenly as it started, cutting off mid-scrape, and the silence that follows feels worse than the sound did. Heavier, like something up there is simply waiting him out. He stands at the wheel lock for a long moment, hand hovering, before he finally lets his arm drop. He needs to know more before he seals himself in with whatever's already down here. He goes back to the shelves instead. Rows of uncatalogued magnetic tape, boxes gone soft and gray with dust, most of them dated in a spidery hand somewhere in the early 80s. Cataloging them was supposed to be the actual job, before the rules and the ledger and the thing on the intercom took over the night. He starts pulling boxes almost mechanically, needing something ordinary to do with his hands. Then he stops. One box, near the back of the third shelf, has a label typed instead of handwritten, clean, official, like it came off a machine that no longer exists anywhere else in this basement. On-screen text, tape box label, camera pushes in slowly. Julian A. Reyes, DOB March 14th, 2000. He stares at it long enough that the flashlight beam starts to shake in his hand. It's his name, his birthday, a reel of tape, catalogued in 1984, 16 years before he was born. He tells himself there's another explanation, a relative, a coincidence of names. He tells himself this while he's already crossing back to the desk, while he's already threading the tape onto the nearest working deck. Not Reel 4, a different machine, one that sat silent all night. His hands know the motions before his brain agrees to any of it. He hits play. For a moment, just hiss. Then his own voice comes out of the speaker. Not a recording of him reading anything. Not a message. Just Julian talking in the easy, unguarded cadence of someone who doesn't know they're being recorded, describing the house he grew up in. The water stain shaped like a rabbit on his bedroom ceiling. The name of a dog he had for exactly one summer before it went missing. Small things. True things. Things he has never said out loud to another living person. On-screen text. Waveform visualizer pulsing in time with audio. Subtle, low opacity. And underneath his own voice. Faint at first, there's room tone. The specific hush of this basement, this desk, this chair. He is listening to himself talk about his childhood, from inside the room he is currently sitting in. Then a second voice answers. It doesn't come from the same direction as his own recorded voice. It's flatter, colder, utterly without inflection. The kind of voice that asks a question the way a machine logs a timestamp. On-screen text. Second waveform layer, red tint, overlapping the first. What do you regret most? Julian's recorded voice on the tape answers something he can't quite make out under the hiss, and the cold voice asks again, patient, unbothered by the delay of 42 years. On-screen text, red waveform, same tint. Say it again. Slower. Julian lunges for the stop button, thumb slamming down, and the button depresses on its own a half-second before he touches it. Mechanism clicking home with a soft, deliberate finality, and the tape keeps rolling anyway. The reels don't stop. The deck has locked into continuous play, the stop button sitting flush and inert under his finger, like it was never connected to anything at all. His own voice, recorded before he was born, keeps talking. The cold voice keeps asking. And somewhere behind him, low under the sound of the tape, Reel 4 spools are still turning backward, patient, unhurried, keeping time with a conversation that hasn't happened yet. The tape finally releases him. No click, no mechanical courtesy. The reels simply slow and stop like something has gotten what it needed and lost interest. Julian doesn't move for a long moment. He just sits there in the darkroom of the basement, breathing, the cold voice's last question still sitting somewhere behind his sternum, where he can't quite dislodge it. He checks the wall clock out of pure animal habit. Digital numerals, red against black. On-screen text, wall clock, close-up, numbers flip. 3:59. He watches it change. On-screen text, same clock. 4 o'clock. Every fluorescent fixture in the basement dies at once. Not a flicker, not a dimming, just an absolute and simultaneous cutoff, like a hand closing over a candle. The dark that follows is total for 1 full second. Kind of dark that has weight to it, before Julian's eyes adjust enough to find the only light left. A scattered constellation of green VU meters and standby LEDs across the tape decks, pulsing faint and even, the sole proof the room still exists at all. He stays absolutely still. He listens. Somewhere beyond the office door, Out in the concrete service stairwell, a footstep lands. Heavy, deliberate, not hurried in the slightest. It waits 3 seconds, then another. Drag of weight, a pause, then the unmistakable small sound of a hand closing over a door handle further up the stairs, testing it, finding it locked, releasing it. Then another step down, another pause, another handle, tested and dismissed. On-screen text, none. Keep screen dark, only green meter glow. Hold on empty stairwell shot if using B-roll. It's checking every door on its way down, methodically, like it already knows which one it's looking for and is simply taking its time getting there. Julian's hand finds the flashlight on the desk, and he doesn't turn it on. Some instinct tells him that light right now would be less a comfort than an announcement. He just holds it, thumb on the switch, and counts the footsteps without meaning to. For doors up. 3, 2. The intercom crackles on, unprompted, filling the dark basement with a warm, familiar, utterly wrong sound. His own voice, played back to him live, calm and measured in a way he has never once managed to sound in his actual life. On-screen text, intercom speaker grill, close-up, single red standby LED. Julian, open the hatch. He doesn't move. The footsteps on the stairs pause, as if listening to see whether he'll answer. On-screen text, same shot. The indexing is finished. Your voice has been saved to the permanent archive. The footsteps resume. One landing left before the basement level. His own voice, gentle, patient, endlessly reasonable, keeps talking through the dark, telling him there's nothing left to be afraid of, telling him the hard part is already over, telling him all he has to do now is open the hatch. And the worst part, the part Julian can't shake as he backs slowly toward the vault door with the flashlight still unlit in his fist, is that it sounds so much like something he would actually say. The final footstep hits the concrete floor of sublevel 3. Then silence, the kind that means whatever's out there isn't walking anymore. It's standing just outside the door, waiting for him to answer. Julian holds his breath. He's certain, in this moment, that stillness is the only tool he has left, that if he just doesn't move, doesn't breathe, doesn't exist any louder than the dust settling around him, whatever's standing on the other side of that door will lose interest and go back up the stairs the way it came. He almost makes it. The cough comes from nowhere, some leftover basement dust catching the back of his throat at the exact wrong moment, and it's small, barely a sound at all. But in a silence this complete, it might as well be a gunshot. The door handle stops. Then, slowly, it begins to turn. On-screen text, none. Hold on door handle, macro shot. Green meter glow only. Handle rotating in near total darkness. A single metallic click as it reaches the bottom of its travel. Cut to black. Screen. Full black, 10 full seconds. Audio only, dead air. Faint tape hiss, nothing else. Then, out of the darkness, the distinct, ordinary click of a desk lamp switching on. Warm light spills across a familiar metal desk. Different hands, this time. Someone new. Sleeves pushed up, sitting down a paper coffee cup with the particular exhaustion of someone who took a strange overnight job because the money was too good to ask questions about. They clear their throat, glance around the basement the way every new hire does on their first night, and pull the thick leather-bound volume toward them under the lamp. On-screen text, book cover, same as act I open. The indexing protocol. They flip to the back, past Marchetti's frantic hand, past the rules Julian read hours ago in numb disbelief, until they reach the final page. The ink here is different, newer, steadier, but with a faint tremor in it all the same, like it was written by someone trying very hard to sound calm. On-screen text, final page, camera holds. Rule 15. If you hear Julian screaming from behind the drywall, pretend the acoustics are just bad plumbing. The new archivist reads it once, reads it again. Somewhere behind the wall, faint, easy to mistake for old pipes settling in the cold. If you didn't know better, something that might be a voice, might be a name, drifts through the drywall and fades. They set the ledger down, pick up their pen, and start their shift. Behind the horseshoe of tape machines, Reel 4 begins, very slowly, to turn.